This video is sponsored by qashqade. Check out the link in the description below to book a demo and get 10% off your first year. The brands and flavors of VC firms are as diverse as the founders they serve. Some are more data-driven and encompass a wide variety of industries, while others are more targeted and personal. Meron is a small VC firm founded by Israelis for Israelis. They recognize the strengths that the Israeli market brings to the table, and they seek to maximize its contribution to the global economy. They're small but smart, and they operate more on their guts than anything else. Welcome back to Global Tech Box. This series is sponsored by qashqade, where we look at top and exciting venture capital firms making strides in tech, health, and much more. Meron was founded in 2016 as a venture capital fund focused on Israeli innovation and deep tech. I had the chance to talk with Liron Azrielant, one of the two co-founders of Meron. In a Zoom call, she shared their unique approach to teaming up with founders and focusing on accessibility to Israeli founders. Her co-founder's name is Daniel Roditi, and he is also a GP of the fund. Meron is a pre-seed and seed early-stage venture fund who is currently raising their second fund. They have made a total of 12 investments and had one exit, which was Loom Systems. Meron invested in Loom Systems in November 2019, and they were able to sell their position again in January 2020 when the company was sold to ServiceNow. They were the lead investors in two other funding rounds. One of them is Maximise, who is an IoT orchestration platform, and the other company, Perceptive AI, user data and predictable science to assist customer success departments in B2B SaaS companies. Liron explained that their strategy is to have a firm grasp on the strengths and weaknesses of what the Israeli market has to offer and to capitalize on that knowledge.
Play where we understand and where we're good. What we invest in is, well, early stage, but also deep tech coming out of Israel. The reason we focus on Israeli founders is we understand Israel as a country where what's advantages, what they're particularly good at, where you have abundance of strong talent and good engineers, and where they're not particularly good. Because Israelis, at the end of the day, they're a market selling to a market that's 5,000 miles away. So, it comes with its own playbook.
Because of Israel's small size, just as a comparison, approximately 0.2% of the size of the US, and their young history, becoming an expert on who they are and what they're good at has been key to Meron's success. Beyond simply focusing on this geographic and cultural area, they have also honed in on a special niche that has some more certainty to it than some other might offer. Meron has chosen to invest in deep tech, knowing that there is no chance demand go away.
Also, we understand Israeli founders. We know what each army unit means. We have references for practically all Israeli founders within 2 or 3 phone calls. You basically know to tell a good company from a great company when it's an Israeli company. Mm-hmm. And we invest in deep tech because we believe it's sort of the platform that powers where the world is going. So I might not be able to make the right bet on whether Google or Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever tool there is gonna win at the market share, but I am willing to bet that the bandwidth and cybersecurity and DevOps tools that are required to develop each and every one of them are gonna significantly increase in demand. So we're sort of investing in the highways, not the cars.
I asked Liron what sets Meron apart from other VC firms. What is their approach to dealing with their founders? How does the relationship work?
I think what I am selling or what I am offering to founders is myself. So it's a relationship with me. I'm the person that's going to be on the other side of the phone when you have a challenge around your business, when you need to decide what to do. And so the only real answer to it is, do you want it to be me or do you want it to be someone else? It's of course we have our network. We work really hard for our founders. We would work just as hard for a $1 billion acquisition as we would for a $5 million acquisition if that is what the founder wants to do. We care more about the next deal that we would do with our founders rather than the relative importance of what's currently on the table, and we care the most about having the CEO fulfill his vision. So maybe that's a little unique, and also we only dispense this advice and help when called for. We're by definition the flight attendant or the co-pilot at best. We're not at all attempting to fly the plane.
As you can see, Meron's strategy is not to take over control of the vision for a particular company or idea. They seek to come alongside their founders and support them as human beings. Liron talked more about this and how Meron is not a huge, detached firm, but takes more of a consultative approach.
We have the ability to talk to the founders at eye level. We're modest enough to admit that we don't know anything, but we also expect the founder in front of us to not pretend that they know everything. It's more a collaborative process of let's figure this out together and let's not assume that there's a right answer. We're willing to help with whatever it is you need help with. So, I have founders texting me a paragraph of, oh, this is how I want to present my business. Like, I want to send this in an email to a CISO, or I want to send this to an email to a business partner. What do you think? And I end up like fixing their phrasing for it because that's what they need at the moment, and they know that I'll answer them at like 10 p.m. if they need to. And I have founders that call me only when there's a very significant crossroad and they want my input on that.
All VC firm founders might be answering emails at 10 p.m., but maybe not just for the sake of supporting the founders. This is something I definitely felt was unique about Meron. They take a human-based approach to selecting which companies to work with. While a lot of companies might crunch the numbers to determine if a company or idea is viable, Liron relies on her gut.
I start with a warm recommendation. I meet them so early on that they might not even have an idea or any additional data to take on from. And from that point, I measure things that are really not quantifiable, how they react to feedback, how open and honest the discussion is, how they make difficult decisions. One founder that I've invested in, the second I realized that I want to invest in him was that he had an idea and he had an investor willing to put money on this idea. And he said, no, it's not good enough. I'm going to improve this idea once again, and only then go to raise money. And at that point, I realized it's a founder, it's a CEO that knows how to make difficult decisions and is remaining true to what he believes and is not tempted by easy money or a quick round.
Meron seeks to partner with those who have those sort of intangible qualities. They want to know if they have somebody who is in it to win. It's not just a brilliant idea or early success that makes a good entrepreneur. It's spirit.
My number one requirement from that moment is resilience. I think just the ability to have your employees complain and your investors complain and the market and the clients and everything and just be, take it on as, okay, there's feedback there. I'm going to take the feedback seriously, but sort of push away all the stress and emotions that come with that feedback and keep on keeping on. And it was so clear that that's what got them to this great result. It just tied a lot of things that we thought we knew together into the feeling that now we know.
Later in the interview, she talked a bit more about how Israel is unique and why what they have to offer is so strong and specialized. The training is incredibly unique.
The strength is, the Army units. I got a master's in MIT in computer science and still the most technologically advanced training that I've ever got when I was 17 and working for the Israeli intelligence. And this is irreplaceable. And you can't, people outside Israel cannot get this education. there's so many engineers. The culture in Israel is such that being a techie, being an engineer is maybe the highest regarded career choice, and it just creates this density of really, really strong tech talent, because the smartest go to engineering maybe the same way that in New York the smartest go to Wall Street. So it creates this huge supply. And I also think that the ecosystem in Israel is changing in a very positive way due to two forces. One, so international travel stopped, and even local travel stopped. So if people don't go to meetings anymore. So if you want to sell something, you can do it in a Zoom meeting. And if you can do it in a Zoom meeting, then you can do it from Israel. So suddenly the barriers of entry to the US market have reduced.
Previously, the greatest barrier to success for an Israeli company was the distance from the target market. Since the pandemic and the rise of Zoom calls, a lot of these barriers have been torn down, and the future is looking really, really bright for Israel. Watching this interview may have made you feel very connected to Liron and her vision. As of today, they're focused on investing only in Israeli founders. She explained that her typical LP would be a small to medium check of 15 million. They have more than 50% subscribed right now, so she cannot accommodate larger checks of 20 or more. They do have a lot of investors from Europe and are hoping to grow even more. They take relatively small checks, but a lot of their LPs are really excited about co-investments and following up on opportunities. They are a pre-seed and seed venture capital fund, so at B and C stages, they're not going to be able to take their full pro rata and would love to have an opportunity for deeper collaborations with LPs. Their ideal LP would start up with this check, use it to gain information, learn all about your portfolio, and use it as an entry ticket to the amazing companies that they invested in as they grow bigger.
The most important question now, let's say I said, yes, I want to become an LP and I want to reach out to you. What is the best way to get your attention?
I guess email is best. You can even text me if you'd like, but I think email would catch me in the best medium. So I'm at Liron at Meron.co.
Before we go, let's talk about our sponsor qashqade. qashqade has developed an easy-to-use calculation engine that enables its users to perform any type of calculation in a fully automated, customized system instead of using spreadsheets. This applies for carry calculations, cash flow analysis, or other performance calculations. The software is used by investors, fund managers, and fund administrators, whereby the investors use it to check if their management fee is paid or carry received. Because it's fully automatic, it takes a lot of the trouble away from you and offers greater transparency and reduced risk to your investors. Their software has a user-friendly interface, not to mention the degree of flexibility they provide in their configurations is unique above any industry standard. I can't believe VC and fund managers are still using Excel, or even worse, pen and paper. One day, when I'll be a venture capital fund manager, this is exactly what I would use to manage my portfolio. But for now, I'm creating and producing videos. If that sounds interesting, check out the link in the description below, schedule a demo, and get 10% off in your first year. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back to take a look at another fund changing the world.